it's Ambitious Bee, and welcome to part 2 of my car buying experience. Now today it's just me, STEAMboat Terry, my husband, who you'll see in the previous video. He definitely had a good part in helping me plan, but I'm a Virgo. So planning this and having this come together was really my bread and butter. So today I'm just going to talk about all those little pieces that came together, well, that we had to make come together to buy the car. First thing that came to mind is down payment for me. We didn't have a large down payment. What we had really amounted to maybe like less than 5% of the value of the car, I believe. So you don't need a lot, but it helps because you don't have to put all that money on your financing, and that will bring your monthly car payment, your car note down. So bigger the down payment, the better off you are. So we had that down payment. We actually had to move around funding because we were actually trying to use that money for fixing our fence. The joys of home ownership. We have been fixing so much lately around the house. And then we had to throw doing the car on top of all this. But yeah, we had a down payment. So after the down payment, I had to look into financing. Now, we had a plan where both of us were going to be on the car note, but because it was kind of a rush job, we didn't get to the point where both of our credit was in the spot that we wanted it to be. Mine wasn't as high as I wanted it to be, and when you don't have awesome credit, it can be useful to have like a cosigner to help get your loan approved. But we didn't want to take that chance with the way our credit was looking, so we just decided that I was going to be the sole applicant and push it through. Deciding on who I was going to finance through, I went through my credit union. That's actually part of my job. And credit unions are notorious for having really good rates on your car. Well, for any loan, actually, home loans, whatever, you could go through your credit union. If you can, go see somebody in person and get the knowledge up front. Ask questions. Ask about your interest rate and what your payment's going to be like and what goes into your payment. And those are all really good questions to ask. Now, after I applied for the loan, I got a notice pretty soon that I got approved for it. I think it was actually... it was automatic. It was an automatic notification that I got approved. And then the next day I followed up with an actual agent. And we talked about what they would need from me once I decided on a car that I wanted to buy. And just that we would move forward afterwards. Now, that was the next part. Figuring out the car you want to buy. So, like we talked about, we wanted to get a van because of the kids, because the space, because it was just a really good option. And let me tell you, I had to convince Terry to get this van. Like, I had to sweet talk him. But once I started looking at vans and I was telling him all the features, I mean, being the tech guy that he is, he slowly came around. So, we got my van. But other things to consider when you're looking for a car is gas, fuel efficiency. So, the van we chose was one of the highest rated for fuel efficiency. It has more miles per gallon. You can go longer without filling up. And that was important because my other car, it didn't require a lot of fill-ups. It was pretty efficient for a SUV. It's kind of an SUV. So fuel efficiency was a big thing for us. Seating was important for us. I mentioned that I was the mom friend, so being able to fit both kids and one or two of our friends was important. We got an 8-seater, but all I wanted was at least a 7-seater, so it worked out. Even in my 5-seater SUV, it was just going to be tight with an adult back there with the 2 kids. So now we have that extra row in the back. Other things you might want to consider are just your luxury things, like, do you want Bluetooth in it? Do you want to push to start? Do you want automatic doors or stuff like that? And there's so much technology out in the cars nowadays that you can find a lot of good stuff. Oh, another important thing to us was how old it was. We went with something that was within 5 years. Now, you could go back 10 years if you really wanted to. I'm sure there's cars that my other car is 10 years old and still runs really well. But buying a used car, you don't want to buy something that's too old or has too many miles on it. And that way, you're not buying something that's at the end of its life. Go for a really reliable car. Do your reviews on the car. So, our car is a Japanese-made car. And the Japanese car brands that I've seen have been really reliable. You got your Toyotas, you got your Hondas. Good reviews on both of those in other companies as well. That was financing and finding a car. The next piece was figuring out what the car was that you want. The next piece was insurance, because depending on the car you get, that can affect your insurance. It can drive it up really far. So you can do quotes on adding a car if you have the VIN number, which is a very unique identifier for the car. Every car has a very unique VIN number, can't be duplicated, or shouldn't be duplicated. But that's how you can tell that if you put that VIN number into your quote, it can pull the latest information about that car, whatever's been reported. It can pull the mileage, it can pull the color and the make and the special features sometimes. And then you add that into your quote, and that'll help you formulate the quote a little bit faster, so you don't have to fill out, well, it's this make, and it's this model, and it's this year, and it'll just pull that right in. We use Geico. I really am a big fan of Geico. So for me, they have had great customer service. I really love the features for roadside assistance, the quote system. It's just really easy to use. They have the electronic ID cards. They have the app, which is really easy to access. And I've just had a really good experience with Geico. So I would recommend them if you're interested in looking for an insurance company. But I understand it's not for everybody. And sometimes price can be the determining factor. You can go on to Progressive, which gives you a whole bunch of different rates, and you can compare them right there. We added the car to the policy as a quote, and it went up, of course, as you would expect. What I saw is that depending on how many miles you put in that you're going to drive the car, that's a big determiner on how much the price is going to go up. If you're using your car for leisure, or you're going to use it for commuting back and forth between work and school, that also contributes to what it's going to cost to add the car to your plan. If you don't have insurance, you should decide on your insurance before you go buy the car, because they're going to ask for that information when you get there. They're going to say, well, do you know who you're going with and what's your policy? And if you don't have a policy, who are they going to reach out to say that you have insurance? I know in my state, you have to have insurance to buy a car. So you should look out for that before you go in and say, this is my car. And then it was finding the dealership. So I want you to know that there are a lot of things you can use to find a car now. If you're like me, you don't want to negotiate the price. You want to just have the number. You don't want to have to sit here and haggle somebody down and play some game to try to get the best price. So, through my job, we had an option to look at used cars in the area. We did buy a used car, if we didn't mention that. You can search for used car, and the portal that you go through to find that, it gives you a true car price. Now, true car does this thing where it gives you a competitive price, and the dealer, I guess, verifies this price as well. Through my job, I was able to get a few $100s in a discount as well for going to my job. And with that, I had the number to expect for the car, for dealer fees, for any upfront fees. What they didn't tell me or couldn't tell me was taxes that are going to go on top, and any additions that I had. And it's not just at my job where you can find this. There are other places I've seen that also will give you a true car price. If you have a Sam's Club membership, I found out that Sam's Club has a portal for you to find a true car price. Auto Trader is another site that I believe gives you like one straight number. You don't have to haggle. And I mean, I think it's funny that I was really against trying to find something that I can negotiate. I kind of do negotiations for a living, but in my personal life, I'm just like, just give me what I want. Anyway, and if you don't mind haggling with people, if you think it's fun, I mean, you just go to the dealership that you want, that has the car you want. There's plenty of ways to look online to see if your dealership has the car that you're looking for. Another good tool to use is like Kelley Blue Book. It'll give you a range for the car you're trying to buy. If the price that they're trying to sell it at is a good price, an excellent price, it'll give you a range based on the mileage and the year and the type of car, all that. Another good thing about buying from a dealership versus a private seller is that sometimes you can get perks. Now, we got this really nice package with the car because we went to a dealership, and now we're getting oil changes free for a year. I mean, that's probably only going to amount to 2 for us, but that's pretty cool. And then car washes when we go get it serviced, tire rotations and wheel alignments, stuff like that. So I was really impressed that came as part of the purchasing process. And of course, they had an option to do more. You can upgrade it to 3 years or 5 years. So you can choose what you want out of that. The dealer's going to offer you options as well, like if you have any breakdowns or maintenance needed. The advice that I've heard a lot is don't accept anything from the dealership as far as extra warranties or maintenance. Just because you're not really going to use it. And sometimes the cost can outweigh its value. When I was trying to figure out what I needed to look at and do before I actually went in to purchase the car, is I asked people online, like, what do I need to know when going into this dealership? And people said, don't do the warranties, but they also said, get gap insurance. Sometimes you can get it through your regular auto insurance, But if you don't, you can get it through your financing. And so that's what I did. I added gap insurance with my financing. Now, I don't have much advice for buying from a private seller. I would just say be leery buying from a private seller. There's a lot less assurance in, getting a reliable car. I know some people that have bought privately and they've had trouble with the car afterwards, and then you're in a bigger issue than you wanted to be because you probably needed the car in the first place. So just be leery of that. But if you trust the person that you're buying from, if you have really done your homework on the car that you're buying and how the person has taken care of it beforehand, then definitely do that if that's what really works for you. Now, if there's anything that I missed in this video that you have questions about, leave a comment below. And I'd be happy to answer anything about what I experienced and what I would do differently or anything like that. I think this went pretty well for how things went about. This was actually a process that kind of turned within a week. Monday the car broke down, and by Thursday we were riding off in our new car. So it can happen fairly quickly if you've done the legwork. If you've done the legwork ahead of time. So that was the planning part. Next video is going through what went down. We have footage from when we actually went and all that, the test drives and everything. So stay tuned for that video coming soon. Terry will be back with me and we'll have lots to say on that. Make sure you like, comment, and share this video. You never know who's going to use it. And I'll see you next time.